You see me live?
Let's
Oh,
see.
I see. I see. What is it? Moon?
Moon Rising, Moon.
I got.
Wow, this is so much closer. Oh, I didn't realize. Okay.
All right, so I'm gonna X out of this Google thing
Oh, yeah, sure.
because I'm hearing like some feedback or something.
Yes. There we go. Hello, hello, Cassandra.
Ladies.
Well, hello, everybody. Thank you so much, Cassandra, for lending us your IG platform. Um, I am here. My name is Joe. I am one of the co-directors of We Still Move. And yeah, we're here to talk a little bit about our healing, our care rituals at home that we've been doing for the last couple of months. And so to get us started, I just want to share a little bit about who we are. We're a community-based organization cultivating well-being, resilience, and joy through movement and the healing arts. Our trauma-informed programming is by for queer people of the global majority, centering and celebrating ancestral wisdom and emergent practices. We envision a world where embodiment paves the way for community and possibilities, creating culturally affirming spaces to reconnect with ourselves and with each other. So today we are really happy to talk a little bit more about our Healing Artists Directory, in which Cassandra is part of. So in the past couple of years, we have been building a Healing Artists Network that consists of over 25 BIPOC leaders here in the neighborhood, here in Los Angeles. And together we've been uplifting culturally rooted healing practices. And so we've been having hosting community clinics. And with the current administration and the attacks in our community, our programming has pivoted to go online to be able to provide a healing space from the comfort and safety of their own home, unfortunately now, but hopefully in the future we will continue. And so today, we will start with Cassandra Floyd, who I mentioned has been one of our practitioners for a very long time. And she's here to talk to us a little bit about the workshop that she will be leading later on in the month called Mysteries and Secrets of the Lower Place. But before we get
The Lower
started,
Palace.
yes?
The
A
Lower
little,
Palace.
sorry, Lower Palace? Okay. All right, make that, sorry about that. And
That's
so
okay.
Floyd, also known as the Daughter of Fates, is a multidisciplinary healing art practitioner, educator, and spiritual advisor with over 20 years of experience bridging alternative medicine, Western health sciences, and spiritual leadership. She holds 4 degrees in the healing arts, including a master's of science in traditional Chinese medicine and acupuncture, and brings deep clinical training alongside extensive teaching and experience from elementary through college level education. Um, and an artist and long life activist, Cassandra weaves music, movement, visual arts, and earth-based practices into her work, creating spaces that integrate embodiment, creativity, and liberation. As an ordained minister and founder of the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence, she supports individual communities in conscious evolution through grounded, inclusive, and transformative healing experiences. So that's a little bit of Cassandra, and today we're more about who she is. And so welcome to this platform today. And I'd like to start first with being a person that holds so many different modalities. How did you get to this point to choosing to be a healing practitioner?
Well, I'm going to try to make an enormously long answer short. Mostly, the pivot in my life occurred when I became a mother. I was 20 years old when I had my daughter, and it was out of necessity. And I think that so many people that I've met along this journey, especially going through medical school, Our professors used to say all the time that most people go into fields of medicine or psychology to understand their own neurosis. They go to medical school to learn how to self-diagnose, basically, right?
Mhm.
And so with me, it was my daughter. My daughter was very sickly the first like 8 months of her life, and I kept feeling um, perpetually frustrated, and the frustration became rage when these people, men, who were supposed to know more than my uneducated 20-year-old self, and doctor after doctor after doctor, visit after visit after visit, medication after medication after medication, and nobody could do anything for my daughter. Nobody, quote, knew how to help my baby until my baby ended up hospitalized with double pneumonia. It was an old black nurse that finally told me, baby, how many doctors have you taken your baby to? I said, 6. I said, 6 in the last 3 months. She said, and nobody told you that your baby has double pneumonia? Within 5 minutes of seeing my baby, after months of taking my baby, I was so outraged and so disgusted, and that I said, this won't ever happen again. My baby ended up hospitalized for 3 weeks. And I said, this shit will never happen to me again. It will never happen to my daughter again. So I started buying every book I could possibly buy on herbs, on how to use herbs. My baby and myself became my perpetual guinea pig on how to use herbs. Well, that one worked. That one didn't. I can laugh about it now, but it was serious because anybody that has been a parent, anybody that has taken care of an elderly parent knows there is nothing more disempowering than to be able to not be able to help the person that you are responsible for, you are caring for. And so I spent years self-teaching on herbs, how to use herbs, how to mix herbs, how to apply herbs, the different method of consuming herbs or applying herbs or taking herbs. And I joined this political organization that had an aspect of the organization that dealt specifically with the health and educational disparities peculiar to the Black community. And this was when I was in Tampa. And a part of that organization was me directing the health food store and we had a wellness center where we did free wellness program, where we had a free wellness program where we did monthly events for the community, free for the community. And then we would partner with like the local nurses organization or whatever. And so whenever we would have an event, they would come and do like free blood sugar checks or free, we would work with the health department. They would do free confidential HIV screenings. So every time we did an event, we would partner with different organizations that would come and provide free services for the people who participated in the event. And I loved it. But there was a period, I guess I was about 30 years old. So this is years now. It was about 30 years old where I felt like I'd hit a brick wall. I'd reached like this place of limitations in terms of what I could offer the community based on the information that I had being a self-taught herbalist. You know what I'm saying? That I only knew so much. I did not have a mentor at that time. This was out of desperation for a very real issue in my personal life that got me on this path of learning everything that I could and how to take care of my daughter, how to advocate for my daughter if I ended up having to take her back in one of these spaces. And there was a moment, very clear moment, where I had really reached the limitations of what I felt like I had the ability to help people. And it's crazy. It was kind of, in hindsight, it's kind of like a eureka moment because I'm feeling really frustrated. And that frustration over time, because I'm going through this shit right now. So even saying this out loud, I'm like, oh my God, I've been here before. That frustration can become something that changes your attitude and like your perception of what next? What am I supposed to do next? Right? And the same, maybe 2 months after I started really having this kind of identity crisis, if you will, I was reading like the local health magazine, and there was a big ad about a school that had just opened up about an hour and a half away from where I was. And it was the only school today. It remains the only school in the country that offers a bachelor's of science in alternative medicine. I was like, oh, it was like the sky opened up. I was like, I have to go here. So that's how I ended up going through the process of like taking what I'd already learned and making its application make sense. Right. And so that was my undergraduate, was a bachelor's of science in alternative medicine at Everglades University. And then I got a mentor when I was finishing up that program, because my thing was I was going to go on to, my plan was I was going to come out here to Bastyr, which is in Washington, and pursue a master's degree in botany. I was a left brain nerd. I'm a Virgo. I have to know why. I hear what you're saying about how the herb works, but I need to know the science of why the herb works. I loved looking at plants and chemicals under microscopes. I was like the hardcore left brain nerdy geeky type, right? And so botany just seemed like a perfect answer. Mm-hmm. My mentor was like, don't do that. I can laugh about it now, but he was constantly grinding me up about what was going to be my pursuit later in life. He was like, everything that you want to do, everything that you learned in your undergraduate, you have the ability to do as an acupuncturist, as a doctor of Oriental medicine. All of these things that you learned in your undergraduate that you would not be able to use or just use legally in this country, like as a practitioner, everything that you learned in your undergraduate would fall under the protection of you being an acupuncturist in this country. I was like, oh, that's amazing. I'd never even considered acupuncture. So that's how I went on to pursue my other 3 degrees, which were another bachelor's of science in professional health sciences. So that's like the Western health sciences. That's all Western medicine. That's the Merck manual. It's pharmaceuticals. It's radiology. It's gynecology. It's ear, nose, and throat. It's all of that. All the Western medical stuff. And then the master's degree was in traditional Chinese medicine and acupuncture, and then an associate's degree in manual therapies and massage therapy. Mm-hmm. And so that was 9.5 years of medical school with 1 summer off. Mm. I took 1 summer off in 9.5 years. I went straight through, full time. Straight through. It was, in hindsight, it was insane. It's what I did was insane. Mm-hmm. But the thing that I teach, because I've taught so many workshops since I've been here in California, and what was really striking about California is how many people, particularly indigenous people, men and women, how many indigenous people still have access, some level of access to their traditional medicine, right? The application, the old ways of their medicine. The thing that made itself clear to me when working primarily, because to this day, the majority of people who are I either work directly with or are patients or anything like that are Mexica. They're Mexican people, right? The majority, I'd say 85% are Mexican. And so I find that, and this is across the board. This isn't just with indigenous people. Every space that I go to, every place that I've been in the country, this is the missing link. And I would never have seen it myself as a self-taught herbalist until I went to graduate school. It was all the music school. It was not until graduate school that there was like this instant light that came on. The thing that's missing, because colonialism, conquest, gentrification, the removal of huge portions of people's communities through the preschool to prison pipeline, all of this has disrupted our flow of information from one generation to the next. All of it. Culturally, it's a pet peeve of mine right now, is how culturally disconnected millennials are from their parents, from the generations of the past. There has been a deliberate severing of cultural ties, foundational ties, that would inform coming generations of how better to advocate for themselves, to apply the information that they got from the older generation. Right. And so this applies in medicine in a way that it was clear to see. Mm-hmm. And so the way that I teach, and let me just simplify that. The disconnect that I see, no matter how good an herbalist is, no matter how much of their ancestral medicine they have been able to maintain access to, no matter how dynamic, quote, the manual therapies are that they apply, there's a thing that is missing, and is missing everywhere and in every space. And it's going to seem really simple. It's the diagnostic process. It is to be able to formulate a complete picture of who you are looking at in real time, not only to help mitigate the symptoms that brought them to you in the first place, but how to create a tapestry of who they are and what got them to this moment. So even while you are treating the symptoms, alleviating the symptoms, this formula that you're using, this compilation of herbs that you're using, the implication or the application of manual therapies can be getting to the root of the condition, even while you are applying herbs or therapies that can immediately give them comfort when they are having symptoms that they perceive as crisis. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. And yeah, no, I see that. And I feel like I've seen that also across a lot of different other, for instance, in therapy or in other, when they're asking, like, we can't just see what you're, talking about what you're feeling now, what happened yesterday, what happened a decade ago, what happened, and your family member in, decade, 100 years, intergenerationally. And so, and that is, a true factor. And then you bringing it back to colonization. How do you then, see all of this gap? How do you then, in your practice, kind of mitigate that gap? Like, is there a way in which you practice where that brings that whole self into the conversation of
Yes. And I have to warn people, like when I do the intake process for a new client, I have to warn people that some of the questions that I ask you in your mind will not make sense to why you came here. Some questions will not be comfortable for you to answer. If you are not comfortable answering them, you can tell me, can we skip that? That's okay. That's still in this space about honoring your sovereignty, right? But so the intake process, which is something I have taught before, and I'll say this, that the way that I approached medicine, when I went to medical school, I didn't go to medical school as a regular everyday person. I did not. And that is what made, I'm certain, that's what made me a different type of practitioner than like the brothers and sisters, the men and women that I went to school with. I went to school as a hardcore Black nationalist revolutionary in a, at the time, 42-year-old cadre style organization. Okay. I went to school as a revolutionary. I went to school having been steeped in hardcore socialist, Marxist, Leninist ideology, well informed, having read every single speech Mao Zedong ever made. Like, I was really about that life. So even when I went to school, because that same organization I was working with was who I was doing that work with for the program, the wellness program that was dealing with health and educational disparities. But another aspect of my work with that organization was I was doing internet radio. This was before YouTube was even a thing. And so we did live international radio. We had a 24-hour radio station, live shows, 24 hours a day. And I did two shows, but the one that was centered around health was called Galactic Seed. What's up, Alafia? It's good to see. I was just thinking about you today, man. Wow. So anyway, it was the name of the show was Colonialism is Bad for Your Health. And the reason I called the radio show that was, first of all, the organization I worked for had 20 years prior had a little, like they have a paper, like the Black Panther paper. And they used to do a little segment at the end of every paper called Colonialism is Bad for Your Health. And somebody would write up a little blurb about, like, take this herb or do this thing, yada, 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 right? So I was like, that's what I'm going to call the show. Colonialism is Bad for Your Health. But I didn't want, and at that time, this was early 2000s. This is like maybe 2002, 2003 when I started doing the show. I hated, there were a ton of wellness shows at the time, but they were all so boring. So boring. Listen, even when I was teaching high school and middle school, I was like, I empathize with kids who go dead in the eyes and then want to put their head on the desk. I was like, I'm never going to be that kind of teacher. I'm never going to do that. So having that in my head about how boring it was to listen to really awesome people at the time, a lot of authors that I really respected, but their shows, it was like wading through tar. You feel me? And so it's like, how am I going to do a show? What's going to be the angle that is not going to bore people into submission? And so one thing that I did is I am a geek. I love peer-reviewed journal articles. I can read a peer-reviewed study like I'm reading, a taboo novel. I love it, right? And though I can understand what I am reading with all the jargon, with all the extra complicated words and shit, that is a very colonizing thing, by the way. It is a very colonizing tactic, by the way, which I was aware of, right? I was like, okay, so I'm going to have these peer-reviewed journal articles on my show. The show was 2 hours long. I'm going to read the article just as it is. And then I am going to function as the translator for this shit that these people attempt to deliberately keep secret so that they can continue. This is my personal position. Somebody might be upset. But going to medical school, baby, let me tell you something. Going to medical school, having been only one of 3 Black graduates in my class out of 157 graduates, there is nothing more sobering than medical school if you have the right brain when you go. See, I was a revolutionary when I went. So I'm able to see that dog whistly, that just below the surface, but always present and always palpable language that always makes people of color in general and Black people in particular internalize that it is some type of inherent weakness on their Black ass part or their native ass part or their Mexican ass part that is why they perpetually sick. That it is some type of flaw in your genetics that makes you, quote, predisposed to, oh, it's hereditary. Oh, well, if you just didn't eat no pork, you would be all right. If you didn't have that extra cigarette on the weekend, you would be okay. I was like, no, we have to demystify medicine. We have to demystify and make applicable so that a person with a 3rd grade education can understand clearly how they can become the sovereign of their own universe. What's their own universe? This right here. This that their mama gifted them with in the 9-foot radius electromagnetic field that is here to help secure their lives while they experience ecstasy on earth. That's the only reason we're supposed to be here. That's the only reason we are here, is to experience the bliss and the ecstasy and the majesty and the abundance that the mother continues to try to provide for us, and we are perpetually denied because of a split in the cultural consciousness. This split that happened, I won't go into detail about that, but at some point, this split that represented the masculine aspect of the one perceiving itself as something outside and above the one. And it's everywhere. It's everywhere. And so for me, going to medical school, medical school was such a learning experience. I had a wonderful, wonderful time. But at the same time, I am in school for, quote, alternative medicine. And I'm gonna tell you what alternative medicine mean is all that witchy shit that them colored folks did when we first met them. That's alternative. See, the real medicine is what we Europeans created in opposition to the witchy shit all these other people were doing when we met them. But now that witchy shit is trendy, and we see how we can make 70, well, at the time that I was in medical school, so I'm sure it's much more than that now. But at the time I was in medical school, an $80 billion a year industry. And so now we need our cut. It used to be witchy, but now we need our cut.
Now it's acceptable.
And so here we go into school learning about our shit. Excuse me for being frank, but y'all know me.
Right.
Learning our shit from predominantly white practitioners. Right. I'm learning Native American plant medicine from a white woman who calls herself a shaman. I'm learning, traditional Chinese medicine. That program was 4 years long. And I can count on one hand how many Asian professors I had in that program. You see what I'm saying? And so here, even the medicine has been colonized and fed back to us in this way that doesn't empower, that doesn't embolden, that doesn't give us the ability to recapture sovereignty. To be sovereign is to be able to be like mended, right? This split from left brain to right brain, from conscious mind to subconscious mind, from spirit to flesh. All these divisions are parts of how patriarchy came to be in the world in the first place, and exists everywhere in medicine, culturally, or whatever. So when I teach, when I was doing the show, if it's complicated, this gives it the validity to read the entire article, to be able to clearly articulate what the conclusion, what the hypothesis was, what the conclusion was of the article for those, Western-minded, like myself, Western-minded people who act brand new. They act like they can't hear what you're saying when you talk plain. You feel me? Because it's not, articulate, right? Okay, so y'all need that. Let me read it how it is, explain it how it is, and then let me quote and get hood with it. So these people who may have been forced out of school, who only read on a 3rd grade level or an 8th grade level, but still have a right to have access to this information. Let me break it down in a language that you can understand and walk away being able to apply in your life. If you're not doing this as a practitioner, you're in the wrong line of work. That's my personal opinion.
Right. So as you know, there's a lot that happens in one of Cassandra's sessions. At the same time, you go into a deep dive of what really is what's impacting our well-being.
Yes.
And misrepresentation, not having real, people who look like you, people could, speak like you. And so that's been the big problem in the industry. And we can go in and talk about why. And I think you pinpointed of all those reasons. And I would love to do a deep dive on how, because I think a lot of people in higher education, especially people of color, women, people of color, have a hard time because they don't have those anchors to remind them that, you carry a wealth of knowledge that should be recognized and you should, be validated. But of course, it's often not foreseen that way. And so you come in already with, I think, the consciousness, right? The reading with the revolutionary could have, seen through the lines. And so, and yeah, and I think that's why the sessions that I have received with you have always been very powerful. Like I've always been, very connected to where I was healing. And I know we probably could break this interview into many segments and have its own half. But I really would love to spend like maybe 1 or 2 minutes just talking a little bit about the mysteries and secrets of the lower place. It's
Palace. Yeah.
Palace.
Palace.
The Cassandra is going to be leading on February 28th at 10:30 to 12. And this is happening on a Saturday. So it's about a week from now. And so, yeah, could you tell us a little bit more about what this class is going to be and what would people expect?
Yes. So the workshop that I will be teaching on February 28th at 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time is called the the mysteries and the secrets, the mysteries and the magic, something like that, of the lower palace.
The
Say it
lower
again.
palace.
Say that again.
The mysteries and secret of the lower.
Yes, the mysteries and secrets of the lower palace. And anybody, because I see a lot of people on here that are followers of my YouTube channel, and so they have gotten this many times. I have taught this workshop four maybe times. And the thing that always excites me, I'll be honest, the thing that always excites me about this workshop is the amount of males who are interested in this workshop and who always give feedback, who are always like, oh my God, that just made so much make sense, right? And so to not go too deep, but most of the workshops that I've ever taught, whether it was on birthing alternatives for Black and Latino women, whether I always, as an organizer for the last 25 years, I've always made it important to allow males to see a space for them in these issues that on the surface appear to be, quote, women's issues only. There is no such thing as a women's issue only. Everybody got a mama. Everybody got a mama. Therefore, you should, as a human with female energy all around you, care in a different and more deep way about the peculiar suffering experienced by female women, right? And so every workshop I have ever done, that first workshop that I did on birthing alternatives for Black and Latino women, there were just as many males who were not in relationships, came on their own by themselves to that workshop as there were women.
That's amazing.
And this is how we have to teach, right?
Yeah.
And so with this particular workshop, I've had a lot of really great and exciting feedback, obviously from women, but yes, from males. And so the reason for the workshop and the reason it's called the lower palace is in Chinese medicine, the uterus is called the lower palace. Mm-hmm. The uterus is called the lower palace. The statement is the lower palace is where the emperor goes to become. Who is the emperor? Your heart. Every human being has a heart. Your heart is called your emperor. So where the emperor comes from the vast, imperceptible, because that's not heaven, by the way, in Chinese medicine. The vast imperceptible that we can look up into the night sky and see, that's not heaven. Heaven is the lower palace. Heaven is the lower palace, okay? Your heaven, literally, in the old, all of the old archetypal medical systems used to say that. Heaven is between a woman's legs. Why? Because everybody has to come through that gate to have a material experience. So even in the introduction, when you were talking about the importance of healing and medicine, really focusing on the necessity of embodiment, right? And sometimes people don't understand the concept of embodiment. Poor working class people, they're like, what's that mean? Like, I don't know what you're talking about. What does embodiment mean? What is you talking about? Especially in a country where we learn that we are browbeaten to accept that our flesh is unimportant, that it is secondary, that it is something that we just bide our time in until we can go to the great by and by, which is so much better than we could ever experience anything here on earth. This is a crime, first of all. It is a crime. We come here for a reason. We come here to have a physical experience that we are not afforded when we are, where Ayurveda is concerned, we call it the universal God body. When we are in our spirit form, we are back at this imperceptible one of timelessness and all of this stuff as a part of the great, quote, universal body. But we as a singular God, right? We as a singular, not apart from God, within God, need to have very specific experiences. The material experience is one that we have. And so God she gives us this form fully capable of self-defense. We're born perfect, fully capable of self-defense. We have a security system that radiates out about 9 feet that's always surveying the environment to make sure we're safe in space. Internal environment is like, okay, we got to be ready. We can't be so ready that we don't experience pleasure, love, ecstasy. Like, I could go into a deep dive, but I won't. The lower palace is a part of this, what they call the emperor's court, of these organs that have very specific roles. Every single one of their roles is to they have a role where if they're in distress, it will come off as our emotions, right? But that's only if something is not harmonious within the court, within the emperor's court. Somebody's not communicating right or whatever. But in general, everybody in the court wants to party. The kidneys want you to dance. The lungs want you to have sex regularly and have somebody rubbing on your arms and playing in your hair, because the lungs' external partner is the skin. It is how we affirm our existence within the group. It's touching all the time. That's why primates are always 12 hours a day. They're touching, they're rolling around, they're playing, they're squeezing each other, they're wrestling. It is how they affirm their own personal existence within the group. And so to be trying to diagnose somebody without understanding how sociology plays a role in your biochemistry. Right. How you perceive your relationship to those around you will change your blood chemistry, will change your brain, will change whether you feel like you are in a safe world or in an unsafe world. But the body is always trying to protect you. Mm-hmm. So anyway, the uterus plays a central role, because if the health of your mother is one of perpetual stress, perpetual adrenal stimulation, perpetual lack of feeling safety, you are literally in her body, and every time she gets upset or watches the news and her heart starts bumping different, this is right on top of your head. This is teaching you. And so you, having already had this 9-month experience, indistinguishable from your mother, mm-hmm. surrounded by her emotions 24 hours a day, is already teaching you whether you're going to be safe in this next incarnation or whether you have to perpetually have your guard up, where nobody can be trusted. This is going to change how your body even behaves, where its ability to defend and support you or experience pleasure, your inability to experience pleasure. All of this is shaped by a world that we have a responsibility to change. First of all, it's impossible. I will say this. This is the last thing I will say. It is an impossibility. I stand on this. I don't waver. It is impossible for anybody on earth to be, quote, healthy, to be whole in a world of madness, in a world of sickness. This is our collective problem to resolve, to attempt to try to, quote, achieve Zen or have peaceful mindfulness in a world of deliberately imposed chaos is not acceptable. It is not, and it's not maintainable. That even those who can, quote, split themselves off from the suffering of others, they will be bound to suffer by the madness if we don't all take responsibility for solving this. This is why I teach the way that I do. We have to fight for our own personal sovereignty, to secure our own universe. And then once we do that in an honest way, it's a non-issue to respect other people's sovereignty, to not only respect it, to champion for it. This is what ends a world of divides, worlds of racism, worlds of sexism, gender bias, and all of these things, is that once you can understand, one, you are born perfect, and there's too much scientific evidence that proves that. Two, once you accept that you are not born flawed, you are not born filthy, and all of that bullshit that comes from these ideologies, then you can see the goodness in everyone, even at their worst. You can accept that if your sovereignty must be maintained, that you have a responsibility to respect and uphold and champion for the sovereignty of others. Health outside of that is a moot question. It's just a money-making machine, whether it's alternative medicine, whether it's Western medicine.
That's right.
I am convinced that the changing of this world is something that we can witness in real time in our lifetime. If you have me tell it, I'm ambitious. We can see a radical transformation in the world that we live in less than 3 years. That's my personal position. And that's not ill-informed. That is me, the doctor. That is me, the scientist. That is me, the historian. That is me, the mother, the grandmother. That's all of these experiences that come together that remend what has been dissected, what has been split from itself. There's hope for men. There's hope for men. Do you understand? But it has to be something that is based, one, in the perfection of the process. That's why the lower palace. In the perfection of the process. That's why the lower palace. Every last one of you got a mama. That process is perfect. Even when she was broken, that process is perfect, or your ass wouldn't be sitting here listening to me.
Right.
With a relative state of health, able to sit, able to comprehend, able to listen and participate and respond. You feel me?
Right.
The process is perfect. And I will say this, last thing I'm gonna say. As a part of a perfect process, this is gonna be harder for people to accept. There is no division.
What?
There is no division. Every way that everyone that comes onto this planet, every way they choose to live as a sovereign, every person, there's no individualism, there is peculiar, we are peculiar expressions of the one. There's only one earth. You feel me? We are all a part of that one earth, just like every 8 billion cells in our body. Each one of those cells has a peculiar function, not an independent function outside of the whole. We are each a peculiar personification of the one, this earth, of the one, our earth within the solar system. You see what I'm saying? And if we can see ourselves as peculiar, if we can honor our own sovereignty and want to see that reflected in everyone else, it gives us the opportunity to understand that however I live, my life is mine to live. I know this is going to be an issue for people, but it comes up in this workshop about the uterus, about gender dysmorphia. I don't believe in gender dysmorphia. What I do believe in is that people have a right to govern their sovereignty the way that they see fit. I don't believe that people are born wrong. I believe that we live in a world that imposes ill-informed, quote, science that's exploitative. That's what I believe. I believe people can, because we're dynamic, right? Gender is a construct. I do believe that. But I believe that the process is perfect. And if you are a person born in a female body like myself, who has very masculine presenting energy, it's what I've been told since I was 8 years old. And if I'd been born later, I would have been diagnosed with gender dysmorphia, as opposed to when I was a kid being told, why you a tomboy? Why you act like a man? Why your voice so deep like a man? Why your face look like a man, right? It is because nobody honors sovereignty. That's the problem. That's the problem. I'm not a tomboy. I am Cassandra, who has a female body, who has a very big and masculine, and I'll tell you, what people call masculine energy is they are uncomfortable with the presentation of power in female bodies. That's what they call a masculine. You see? So whether it's the deep voice or I like to climb trees like my friends like to climb trees, it is a way to disempower who has been told perpetually has no right to touch power. You see?
Yeah.
And so who you love, who you want to present as, what you need as safe, scientifically backed health care, because you want your outside body to match what you feel inside, that's fine. I ain't got no problem with that. I have no problem with that at all. As a matter of fact, they have, as a sovereign, the right to walk through this world however they see fit. The thing that I will say is that we wouldn't even be having to fight for these rights, healthcare, or any of that shit, if we was getting paid the value of our labor. And that's a discussion for another day, but it still ties to our quality of health.
Yes, no, I hear you now. Cassandra, so shared. We've had a lot of
But
people who are your followers who have taken many classes with you, and I completely agree with you needing a learning village or a learning center so you can teach this really important way of life. It is a way of life. It's a way of seeing our bodies. It's a way of seeing our communities,
yes,
and so I'm really looking forward to your class, Mystery and Secrets of the Lower Place.
palace,
Oh, Palace. Palace.
like a castle, palace. Yes.
Palace. Palace on February 28th, 26th at 10:30 a.m. It is a 90-minute class, and it's going to be online. The way you can sign up for it is through our Instagram at We Still Move. Cassandra's also going to have flyers. We have flyers we're going to be posting, and yeah, please stay in touch. Please come in for the second half of this discussion in 2 weeks. Saturday 28th. And so another way to connect, we are in Cassandra's Instagram, but just in case, we will be sharing this video in We Still Move. And so Cassandra's handles are Daughters of the Fates, daughter underscore off underscore
Of.
the or
Uh-huh.
fates. So
Yep.
please,
Also,
you know,
I would just add, I've been posting this information, the flyer and how to register for the workshop on my YouTube community section. So YouTube has like a community board. So make sure you check the community board and my IG and other areas that you can, or you can email me if you want me to send you the link direct at EvoEmeTemp@gmail.com. That's EvoEmeTemp@gmail.com. And I can send you the link directly for that workshop.
okay,
Yep.
awesome. Well, thank you
This
everybody
was fun.
with We Still Move. We will be having another healer feature next month, but today is, this month is all about Cassandra and all magic. And so thanks again, and talk to you all soon.
All right. Thank you so much, Joe. It was fun. All right, family. Let's see. Guahan, Goddess, Be What You Seek, Galactic Seed, Former, Lycan Onus. I hope I didn't butcher that. I am J Hall, Afro Lane, Halasi Lassie, Babalao, Ifa Kunle, Deflect BS, love that. Diwali Jewelry. I think I shouted everybody out. I think that's everybody. I think that's everyone. Thank everybody for tuning in for this little. This was basically the interview section of. Thank you, Galactic Seed, for sharing the email address. This was the interview section. So this organization I've been doing work with for maybe about 5 years. Yeah, I think about 5 years. And they're called We Still Move. And so I've taught with them. I've, set up healing sessions through their organization. And yeah, so that's been, part of, my, the movement work that I've been doing here. So each month since the whole thing with the ice raids have happened, because we were doing a lot of outdoor events at like local community gardens and things like that. And when the ice thing came down the way that it did, and obviously geared towards a very specific community, they decided to start doing, not putting people in jeopardy. And so over the summer, they decided to start doing these feature months with each practitioner. And so it's an interview and a workshop each month. And so that's what this is a part of, or that was a part of. Yeah. That's been a really dope organization to work with among several that I've worked with since I've been here. But I like that. I have never I've never conducted. That's what I was telling her. Something was happening with her IG, and so I actually had to set it up through my IG, the interview. And I'd never done an interview that way through my IG. So that was dope. I like that. I like interviews. I like people prompting questions instead. And yeah, so I might have to consider that a little more. Now, on another note, I told you guys, which is going to be happening this week. I'm going to be launching the website this week and all the social media this week for this campaign. And I'm also going to be organizing the first committee meeting. So if you're interested in participating, you don't have to be here. You don't have to be local to participate in the committee. I have work for all of you. You feel me? So if you're interested in participating in the committee meeting, I think I'm going to try to organize it for Sunday. Then send me an email and just put committee in the subject header. And I will send you the details of when, what time, and the agenda for that first committee meeting. And so we are in week 1 of 17 weeks that we have to run this campaign. And there's a lot happening within the context of the world. So I'll be organizing some events coming up, local events, and then events that you'll be able to participate in from afar. So yeah, I'll just keep y'all posted. I'll let this be it because I still have a mountain. And I just want y'all to be patient with me. Y'all be patient with me, okay? Like, so there are a couple of people in the world that are justifiably upset with me because I missed meetings with them. And y'all know me. That's not ever anything that is my intention. Don't let it be something that, shades your idea of who I am and what my intentions are. I am human. And right now I am literally trying to do an inhumane amount of work on my own. I know that once this campaign shifts, because it's going to shifts in another direction, I will have the support in terms of the committee members and the people that I need. This is the uncomfortable period where everything that I have to do to make sure that I garner the support is done beforehand. It is an extreme and sobering, debilitating amount of work that I am doing. It is, I promise you, every single solitary second of each day when I wake. I was just sitting here today complaining because I was like, fuck. Right now, and it's not me feeling sorry for myself. It's just an acknowledgement of what is that so much of my frustration is that I am literally not engaged in anything at all. One single thing that gives me pleasure, that gives me joy, that is like, yes, I want to do that. Nothing. And that's not me. That come hell or high water, I'm going to do something I want to do. And to be in a place for the last several weeks where there is not one thing I am engaged in or putting my hands on that gives me pleasure. Gotten to the point where I feel guilty for going out. I went out one time last week on a Sunday, not this past Sunday, the Sunday before, because I was like, I can't sit in front of this computer anymore. I got to get the fuck up from here. And so I went down the street just to get something to eat at this little bar that sometimes has a DJ, and they have, bar food. And the DJ was crunk. Oh my God, he was so good, which is so rare in the city. He was so good. And I was there for like 3 hours. And then I've been in this place before where as soon as I left, I'm like, fuck, I shouldn't have spent that much time there. I should have just stayed for an hour so I could get home and get this shit done. It's like that. I'm up at 7 o'clock every morning. I am not going to sleep until 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, getting up the next day feeling like I didn't do a single thing, though I know I'm typing. I'm checking emails. I'm doing this. I'm trying to keep myself housed. It's a lot. Okay. It's a lot. Reading articles so I can be up on game when I get ready to make this announcement. Because I don't know if y'all been paying attention to the tomfoolery of the last 5 days. LA, from the outside looking in, is falling apart at the seams, child. And the way the media is spinning it is, if you are from the outside looking in, you would swear that the reason LA is falling apart at the seams is because colored folks with vaginas run everything. I was like, I'm being funny, but I'm being deadly serious. The news since last Thursday has been gruesome, has been gross. But we live in a country that was inevitable, by the way. Trump is not an anomaly. The way this country has behaved historically in general, but more recently since Barack Hussein Obama, the point that we are at today was inevitable to see. And so here, since last Thursday, every major conservative news outlet, everything wrong with LA is because colored folks with vaginas run shit. And this is what you get when you let colored folks with vaginas run shit. You get a city that on the outside looking in appears to be falling apart. And people are eating that shit up, child. Eating it up. And so it is strategic. Because people have been asking. It is very strategic. It is very methodical why I have taken the approach that I have taken. Why I've taken my time declaring publicly my intent to run. Why I have been very methodical about when and how to launch this website. It is deliberate. Unlike most people who run for office because they believe in the state, I know the state. The last person who put her name in the pot to run, put her name in the pot to run on Saturday, 2 hours before the window closed, to state a declaration of intent to run. Saturday. From that day to this, they have run this girl's name through the mud. They have made her whole life hell. In 5 days. Oh my God. They have called her, the LA Times had a headline, LA's Mom Donnie. There was another headline I saw, LA, don't do it. Don't elect another Mom Donnie. They showed up at this girl's house on Sunday, took all of these terrible pictures of her because they caught her off guard at her house. And then the first thing that they went and did was like, look at this pretty house. She a Democratic socialist. Look at this pretty house she live in. So they go and do the whole background on this girl's house. When she bought the house, how much she paid for the house when she bought it. What is a Democratic socialist living in a $1.2 million house for? Well, goddamn, the average. This is just the average cost to own a home in LA City is $998,000. She actually lived in an average priced home. Why y'all care about the dollar amount tied to this girl's house? Why do people still accept that to have a title like Democratic Socialist or Communist automatically means your ass is supposed to be poor? This is some sleight of hands, insidious, because you do not know the state type of bullshit. That there was a billionaire, Rick Caruso, running for office not 4 years ago. Ain't nobody showed up at this motherfucker's house. Ain't nobody took pictures of his house and did a whole ass deep dive on how he bought his house, when he bought his house, how much he bought his house for, because there is a general acceptance by all of us that if you are a capitalist, you have every right to be a parasitic billionaire. You have a right. You earned that. Let me tell you what I read today. Because I'm telling you, I came up in here to kick the doors in on everything. Everybody better be mad. I don't care. I do not care. Everyone is about to be upset, and that's okay. I came here to make you uncomfortable. I am certain this is what I am here for. This is what I am here for, because to be mayor, to not be mayor, is not going to change my life in a way that is like, it ain't gonna phase me. Let me put it that way. To be mayor or to not be mayor, baby, is not gonna phase me. It ain't gonna phase me, because I know what I'm doing this for. And it is to shine a much needed light on the debauchery, the criminality, the bullshit we have drank down like it was nourishment, not knowing it was mercury, that we were killing ourselves slowly, drinking this bullshit down. Listen, Fox News had a this girl just announced her intent to run on Saturday. Monday, Fox News had a 5-person panel discussion for 30 minutes or so. The whole thing was on this girl. I said, they think, okay, they think they mad. She cute. She's already been a city council person. She's very beautiful. She's Indian. Very beautiful. Very, what do they call it? Politically respectable and all of that shit. You feel me? I said, they ain't ready. They think these right wingers think they mad. They think they mad. They ain't mad yet. These they are not mad yet. They are not mad yet. Even these, what you call them, these so-called Democrats, they ain't mad yet. They ain't mad yet. Because I'm coming up in here, child, but just like I went to medical school. I used to tell people in the party, they were like, damn, how can you be in that school all day, every day, and there ain't but 3 of y'all on the whole campus? I said, look, they are holding hostage that which belongs to me. I go there every day with an imaginary ski mask on and my imaginary sawed-off shotgun saying, this is a motherfucking stick-up, bitch. Unhand my shit. That's what I'm on. This is a motherfucking stick-up, bitch. This is an ideological stick-up. This is a political stick-up. This is a spiritual, cultural stick-up. Unhand I shit. That's what I'm going up in there on. So people gonna be mad. That's all right. Because what they don't know is that my feelings ain't going to be hurt. You feel me? I'm not going to accept it as some kind of evidence of defeat or some kind of evidence of my inherent weakness if I don't, quote, take the mayor's mansion. I came up in here to use your own instruments against you, to make the most noise, to deconstruct the most shit, to expose the most dirt that I can in these 17 weeks that have been afforded me. That's it. That's all. Part of the reason I kept the shit so quiet is because I know the bureaucracy of the city. I declared on December 9th, and it still took until not this past Monday, the Monday before, for them to approve everything to say, yes, you are a candidate to run for mayor. So even how this girl just out of nowhere just popped up 2 hours before doors closed and just skated through that shit, when I know it took me weeks and weeks and weeks and several visits to the ethics commission to get my candidacy approved. How deliberately bureaucratic they made the process in an attempt to keep people from running. There are 38 candidates. 38 candidates for mayor on the ballot. 38. There are 38 candidates on the ballot to run for mayor of Los Angeles. Now, if you was to read the news today, you would think it's only 3. There are 38 people running for Los Angeles mayor, okay? And we all went through this long, laborious, most of us are working class people, you feel me, who went through this long, tedious, laborious process. This girl sprang up out of nowhere like she just sprung up out from under a rock with a 900-page, what the right called manifesto. Listen, Fox News was mad about this girl putting her name in the pot to run. Fox was mad, baby. And of course what they had to do was get 2 colored women, 2 white women, and a white boy to talk about how mad they are about this girl running. You can see it on you can see the panel on YouTube. Baby, they hot. They hot under the collar. You feel me? They talking about, the boys say, in a room full of women, on a panel full of women, this white boy say, this is what you get when you let, this is not exactly what he said, but this is what he said. That's what that dog whistly ass shit they be doing. This is what you get when you let bitches go to college. Because what he said was, wait, let me tell you the exact thing that he said. What did he say? His name was Paul Morrow. He said, and this is the main thing this administration has been talking about. This problem that we have where somebody like this woman can run for mayor of Los Angeles. We know that the problem is the academia media complex. The academia media complex. Oh, so you mean this what happened when you let bitches learn how to read and let their ass go to college? What else could you be talking about? All of the headlining candidates but one are women, and they women of color. So what the fuck is you saying actually? He said that shit with a straight face on a panel full of women who did not buck back. One black is me, one Mexican, and two white women, and they all like, you sure is right. What? I guarantee you all four of y'all got college degrees. You sure is right. That sure is what happened when you let bitches learn how to read and go to school. I said, this shit is madness personified. Madness personified. Then he went on to say, the president, love him or hate him, this is what he's been trying to tell us all along. This is what happened when you let bitches learn how to read and go to college. You cannot make this shit up, y'all. I'm laughing about it because this shit is berserk. Can we just stop trying to philosophize and politically jargonize absolute chaotic madness, berserkism? This shit is lunacy. This shit is lunacy. And so what I've decided my campaign has to do is match energy. The only thing y'all understand is lunacy. The only thing you understand is absolute, sheer, chaotic madness. And ain't nobody in the so-called Democratic Party, ain't nobody on the so-called left trying to match energy. Nobody trying to match energy. You got Jasmine Crockett fake pumping on the goddamn, what is it? The floor, the legislative floor, where every now and again, this shit is deliberate. This shit is deliberate. So every now and then she'll black it up just a little bit. Well, I am disgusted by what I am seeing on this floor with my colleagues today. Bitch, shut up. I'm sorry. Ain't none of y'all matching energy. And the reason you aren't matching energy is because you have stakes in the maintenance of this monstrous bitch. You have stakes in the maintenance of this monstrous bitch. You don't give a fuck if everybody else is suffering, as long as you all right. I don't care who it is. I don't care who it is. Black, Asian, Mexican, female. I don't care who it is. Y'all all got stakes. That's why ain't nobody staging a contest with this monstrosity being levied upon the heads of human beings in this country right now. Not just in this country. This motherfucker talking about expanding empire. He got a goddamn American flag over Canada, over Mexico, and Central America, and goddamn Greenland, and ain't nobody bucking the fuck back. Ain't nobody trying to match energy with this motherfucker. And it ain't just Trump. Biden was just as guilty. But y'all act conveniently ignorant because his right-hand man happened to have a goddamn uterus. Biden paved the way for the certainty of Trump. Trump ain't the one that walked us into 2 goddamn wars that we still up the fuck in. Your ass is poor. The goddamn homelessness rate is increasing everywhere. But these motherfuckers done sent $188 billion of your motherfucking money to goddamn Ukraine, and then another 160 something billion to goddamn Israel, and you act confused about why your circumstances are deepening and sharpening and worsening, and ain't nobody out here that you voted for. Nobody. Stop talking about Kamala being on vacation. I don't want to hear that dumbass shit. She is too responsible. Everybody that occupies these, quote, places of power that you have consented to be governed by, though there's nothing in their past, there's nothing in their history that tells you they give a fuck about your life. Your circumstances tell you they don't give a fuck about your life. And if they don't give a fuck about your life, even if we don't really have power to do anything, we gonna make this motherfucker uncomfortable. If all we can do is fucking disrupt this shit from right where we at because these are our constituents and they voted for us, then that's all we gonna do is disrupt this motherfucker. We gonna make this shit as difficult as possible for y'all to do. Y'all, any of y'all representatives doing that shit? Name one. Name one. Name one. Name one. Name one. Ain't nobody out here fighting for your fucking life. Nobody. Jasmine Crockett, I knew from day one because I know the state, baby. These little performances she was doing, boy, y'all love to see us up there shucking and jiving, don't y'all? Y'all love to see us shucking and jiving. She sure told them. No, the fuck she didn't. No, the fuck she didn't. This girl is an open, outspoken Zionist supporter. So while she can be pump faking on some, you know, I have to represent my constituents and shit. This shit is corrupt as fuck. And while this motherfucker is talking about expanding American empire, and ain't no crickets, but nobody that you spent all this time supporting, rallying, voting for, ain't nobody matched energy. Oh no, ain't nobody matched energy. Not even close. Y'all think Gavin Newsom about some shit. This rotten, filthy, diabolical motch. And it's so funny because it's not just me. It's not just me. I done heard old white people. I done heard old white men. I done heard native young people. Everybody keeps saying the same shit. If your ass don't live in California, stop talking about Gavin Newsom as some good guy. Everybody saying the same shit. If you do not live in California, please stop talking about Gavin Newsom like he is some kind of good guy. Everybody from every class, except maybe the billionaires, everybody from every class is like, please stop doing that. Can y'all please stop doing that? If y'all don't live here, please stop doing it. Stop talking about this motherfucker like he a good guy. Stop doing that. Everybody. But y'all don't listen. Gavin sure told Trump about himself. Child, please stop. Please stop the madness. Boy, you know what? I'm not to throw this garbage. God damn it. Sit down. All that goddamn yelling. Come on if you want to eat, but you doing too much. Damn it. Shit crazy. He ain't sleeping. Girl, he been sleep. Y'all, this dude been asleep all day. He ain't moved off my couch. He just woke up maybe about an hour ago, and you hit the door yelling, ring, ring, ring. Boy, shut up. Anyway. Telling y'all, once I do this damn press conference, it's on and popping. They about to be all in my garbage trying to find my dirt. They gonna see. They gonna find dirt. This bitch poor. How's she talking about running for mayor? She broke. You see what I'm saying? Listen, they gonna have dirt, and I'm here for it. Told y'all I ain't got no stakes. No stakes in the maintenance of madness. Yeah, they in for one. They in for one. What y'all call it? Respectability politics? Out the door. Gone. Not with me. Well, you know, you can communicate, you know, what you believe, even if you're passionate about it, without using explicatives. I can already see it coming. But when I tell you I came here to match energy, y'all ain't got no problem with Trump cussing out workers while they on the job, flipping people off like he an infant and shit. Y'all ain't got no problem with that. As a matter of fact, you love it. You love his little fake ass tough boy persona. Y'all love that shit. I came to match energy, baby. Today I came to match energy, not just with your local administration and this bullshit and ass bullshit in LA fronting as responsible government. It's bullshit and ass bullshit. This bullshit and ass bullshit. You feel me? I didn't just come to contend with LA. Baby, I came to make a motherfucking scene. I'm in the city that will allow for me to make a scene that's like a goddamn ricochet, like setting off a goddamn verbal and energetic, political, spiritual atom bomb that's going to affect the whole goddamn planet. I came up in here to make life difficult for those who think that they are going to be able to move into the future, continuing to deepen our goddamn suffering. I came up in this motherfucker to make their lives difficult. I'm calling names. Yes, I am. This shit about to get real awesome. It's going to be real awesome. It's going to be real awesome. I already started writing my list of names because I'm calling your names every day. Every day, I'm going to be calling y'all names. Every day, I'm going to be calling y'all names. You know, in this city, let me tell you what I read today. In this city, just the city limits, not the county, there are 52 billionaires in this bitch. 52 billionaires in this city. And you think that their billions is not in no way impacting your motherfucking life? You really believe that shit? Guess what I did today after reading that there was 52 billionaires in this city? Oh, that ain't including, no, in the city, in the Los Angeles city, not in not in the state. 52 billionaires in the city of Los Angeles. In the city, Galactic City, 52. And you really don't understand how that amount of wealth impacts your life. Hold on, because this ain't what we do. Hold on. Bullet shit is number one. And you really don't see. So I said, you know what? Let me just make it plain. I'm making this declaration right now that for this committee, this is not funny. This is not me making a joke. Two things that I need for this committee. I need a research team. I need a team of people. The only thing they are going to do is collect stats. That's it. They're going to research topics that I feed them and collect stats on those topics, bullet points, so that I can have them ready in my chamber. You feel me? In my chamber. I need a research committee. Ideally, about 5 to 10 people. Okay? I also need, and I don't know how we're going to pull it off, but I am trusting that everything that we need and then some is going to come as a consequence of this campaign. I need somebody who is like an actual statistician. And it makes a difference. I was in this organization, and we had just gotten class action status for a lawsuit that we had filed against the state of Florida for failing to educate Black kids. The lawsuit got class action status, and every child from, I think it was like 1982 to that current day, and that class action status was like 2003, was represented in this lawsuit. And so this guy who got wind of the campaign against the state of Florida for failing to educate Black kids, and it was based on statistics that we only collected from the state, from each county, about graduation rates, about reading rates, all that. Every statistic that we got directly from the school board and the Department of Education. And so this guy was a PhD statistician in Colorado and said, I will take on the responsibility. You get me all the documents. I'll take on responsibility of breaking this down in statistical language that proves that there is an impossibility for Black kids to be impacted this way in a race-neutral environment, that type of shit. So that's why I'm saying this is I know what I need to happen, but I am not a statistician, right? So I'm telling you that, I'm prefacing that because when I read that there were 52 billionaires in the city, I said, you know what? I keep making these kind of blanket assumptive statements. Let me just see real quick. I said, if Jeff Bezos was made to pay every single solitary one of his employees, no matter where they were on Earth, if he was made to pay every one of his employees $35 an hour, how would this impact his wealth? That's what I Googled. So when I tell you that everything wrong with your life is because billionaires exist, I'm not exaggerating. Do you know, I asked Google, how would Jeff Bezos's wealth be impacted if he was made to pay what California just said, what the country actually says is a living wage based on the rate of inflation today, that everybody in this country should be getting paid a minimum of $34 an hour, right? I said, if Jeff Bezos was made to pay every last one of his 1.6 million employees $35 an hour, how would this impact his wealth? Google said he would be broke. Do you know why he would be broke? It didn't say he would be broke. Google was very specific. It said that if he was to pay 1.6 million employees a living wage, 1.6 million employees a living wage, then he would not have any value in cash wealth. He would still have a ton of value based on his his percentage of shares in Amazon itself, which is still 12%. The bitch would still be a billionaire. He wouldn't have cash wealth, but he would still have, quote, shareholder wealth as a 12% shareholder of Amazon. You hear what I just said? I hope you heard what I just said. That was just off the dome. I'm sitting at lunch, at my old people lunch. If Jeff Bezos was to pay everybody a living wage, $35 an hour, how would this impact his wealth? He couldn't be mega rich. He could just be regular rich. That's basically what they say. He couldn't be mega rich. He could be regular rich because he would still be rich. So when I tell you, and y'all think it's just some general blank statement I'm making about how I don't like billionaires, or what do they call them, centrillionaires? I mean, centrillionaires or centimillionaires or whatever the hell they call them. Millionaires that have over $100 million in wealth. And they are what's wrong with the whole planet Earth. That the reason every problem that you have, the reason your car broke down is because billionaires exist. Yup. The reason that, let me tell you what else I found looking up billionaires, in the way that they literally suck the marrow out of your existence. I didn't know this, but this dude came in today talking about how one of his favorite actors died today of colorectal cancer. Some kid, what was the name of the show he was in? Seventh Heaven. Dawson's Creek, my bad. Dawson's Creek, the kid who played Dawson. He died today. I didn't realize he was as young as he was. He died today at the age of 43 of colorectal cancer. I was like, damn. You know what I'm saying? I was already obsessing on my phone about how billionaires is what's wrong with your life. I was like, you know what? What is the overall rate of cancer in the United States? Hold on, let me open my phone because I kept that open. And ain't nobody thinking about this shit because y'all all think compartmentalized. I'm talking about running a campaign to become mayor of Los Angeles. Why would I be Googling statistics on the national cancer rate? Because it applies. Because it applies. So, what do they say here? First of all, I did not know this. I'm about to have to relaunch Colonialism is Bad for Your Health, because just this thing that I pulled up today, I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Wait the fuck a minute. Let me tell you what I found today. All matter of fact, like, that has got me disturbed. Open. My phone is acting crazy. Brand new phone. Anyway, listen. Los Angeles City. Los Angeles City. I want y'all to keep these stats in mind over the next 17 weeks. Los Angeles City is the 5th wealthiest city on the planet. Out of the top 20, let's see what to say here. Out of the top 20 wealthiest cities, Los Angeles is number 5. Los Angeles number 5. In order, the top 10 wealthiest cities on Earth: New York, San Francisco Bay Area, Tokyo, Singapore, Los Angeles, London, Paris, Hong Kong, Sydney, and Chicago. First of all, 4 cities in the United States took 4 spots of the top 10 on Earth. Meanwhile, the population of the United States of America only represents an 18th. Not 18%, an 18th of the global population. We represent an 18th of the global population, but got 4 of the 10 wealthiest cities on Earth, and you can't understand why your ass living in one of the wealthiest countries on Earth. I live in the state that has the 4th largest economy on the planet, more than countries. The state of California is the 4th largest economy on the planet of 54 developed nations. And y'all can't solve motherfucking homelessness? Use a lie. Because where is that wealth coming from that makes this the 4th largest economy on the goddamn planet? Where is that shit generated from? Where does that just appear from? So while LA is the 5th wealthiest city on Earth that can't seem to solve a single motherfucking problem, not one, in the United States, this past year, I couldn't believe this, but I still was shook. This boy comes in talking about his favorite actor at 43 dies of colorectal cancer. I have all of these ideas and these suspicions about why cancer looks the way that it does in California. I've been talking to y'all about this at length, especially lung cancer and respiratory diseases in this goddamn state. Baby, let me tell you what I read today about the year 2025. In the year 2025, where the national average of new cases of cancer in the United States has typically been around 500,000 to 1 million new cases a year. Last year, yo homeboy's first year in office, terrorizing the fuck out of everybody in the goddamn country, last year, for the first time since they've been taking the statistics, 2 million new cancer cases in a single goddamn year last year. 2 million. I said, wait a minute, what the fuck? 2 million new, not just 2 million new cases, 2 million new cases of invasive cancer, leading to the death of 618,000 fucking people last year. 618,000 people died last year out of the 2 million new invasive cases. And you act like politics don't affect your fucking life. You act like sociology does not impact your fucking biochemistry. That shit had me upset today. And then I live in a state where there's 52 motherfucking billionaires. There's 225,000 millionaires in this city. Let me make sure, because I read that a while ago. Let me make sure that is right. I'm sure that's right, though. I think it was 225,000 millionaires. Hold on, let me see. Let me see real quick, live. I think I'm right. Hold on. How many motherfucking millionaires millionaires are in Los Angeles City? I think I read that right. I took that, I researched that stat last year, but let me see. Thinking. I was right. 220,600 motherfucking millionaires in this punk ass city. Then it says, hold on. The high net worth population, which includes 500, that's what they call them, centimillionaires, who are worth more than $100 million. 500 of them are centimillionaires, dozens of billionaires, and that shit grew by 35% from 2012 to 2022, and you can't figure out where all the money gone. You generating all this money, you creating out of your blunt force, brute force, fucking slave laboring ass labor that can barely afford 2 full-time working people to afford an apartment in goddamn LA, and you wondering where the money went because you see how you generating all this motherfucking wealth in this city. Motherfucking buildings popping up out the ground like goddamn daisies, but y'all just can't find, no, y'all can't live, y'all can't survive. It's because for every piece of labor stolen, wealth stolen, exploited, some new motherfucker become a billionaire, a centimillionaire, a millionaire. And how y'all keep making this shit complicated today and complicated is beyond fucking me. If your ass is living at a constant and perpetual state of deficit, meaning you are not receiving in what you put out, a deficit is what causes disease. When you are not taking in what you need to meet the output that you are giving, this is where breakdown, this is where cancer, this is where that shit comes from. Cancer is a disease of deficiency. That's not my opinion. That's what the medicine say. Cancer is a disease of deficiency. That's what the 3,000-year-old medicine says. All cancers are caused by deficiencies. That's why they be keeping everything so compartmentalized so you do not see what the fuck is right in front of you. If you could see the whole picture, you'd be like, oh, okay, there's 52 billionaires in this city, and that's why there's 75,000 goddamn motherfucking homeless people in this city. They are directly linked. They are directly tied. Prove me wrong. Not only that, not only is there all these millionaires and billionaires in this rotten, monstrous bitch, but on top of that, I'm reading about these 2 million new cases of invasive cancer in this country and in Blount. So I was like, all right, what's cancer look like in the city of Los Angeles? And they say, this shit was sobering. This shit was sobering. When I tell you, my heels is dug the fuck in. You ain't gonna convince me otherwise. Everything that is wrong with your goddamn life, every ounce of ecstasy and pleasure robbed from you is because some billionaire exists, bitch. You ain't gonna have me think nothing else. California's age-adjusted cancer incident rate is approximately 397.4 cases per 100,000 people, based on statistics collected from 2017 to 2021. Which is lower than the national average of 444.4 people per 100,000 or cases per 100,000 people. While over 176,000 new cases are diagnosed annually in California, 176,000 140 new cases a year in this state alone, incidence and mortality rates have generally declined, particularly for smoking-related cancers. Okay, so that's for the state. While cancer affects all, over 50% of diagnoses are among people who are 65 and older. Why? Because California hates old people. That's a whole thing I can get up into. California hates old people. Who do they consider old people? Me, bitch. Do you know that in the state of California, I am considered a senior citizen at 50 years old? California hates old people. My little old people lunch I'm talking about every day, I am legally a senior citizen in the state of California because California hates old people. So this is not surprising that 50% of the cancer deaths are people who are considered senior citizens. Hold on. That ain't all. They are feeding us, but it ain't California. It's philanthropic. Because I told y'all was it yesterday, day before yesterday, that if it had not been for nonprofits in this city going above and beyond to compensate for the outlandish failures of the state, this shit will look a lot shabbier than it do. It is. Now, I get it. There is a portion of the, quote, nonprofit sector that is completely parasitic. I am familiar with the nonprofit industrial complex. You feel me? But there is a whole nother sector of the nonprofit sector out here who are people who started nonprofits, who do all the work, who are running on fumes, who are trying to survive on volunteers and teeny ass minuscule grants, and they do magnitudes more than the city because they believe the shit, because they're convicted to do the shit, because they like, if we ain't gonna do it, it ain't gonna get done. Even Karen Bass rotten ass trying to take credit for the people who have been permanently housed, they ain't do that. The city did not do that. What they do is they hijack statistics from organizations that are out here actually doing this motherfucking work and try to take credit for it. That's what they doing, because they ain't do that. They didn't do that. You feel me? And so, to answer your question, Galactic Sea, yes, this cute little organization right down the street feed us old people lunch every day. Every day, 5 days a week, they feed us lunch, and it's good lunch. Like today, as a matter of fact, I'm still hungry. Today they gave us this tofu stir fry with curry and some like steamed what was it? It was like rice with mixed vegetables in it, and some corn with some roasted corn with roasted red peppers in it. Yeah, they did that. They did that today. Hold on. And so, anyway, so that happened. And then I was like, all right, well, what are the statistics for LA City itself? So that was the cancer statistics for the state. But what are the cancer statistics? This is my tofu stir fry. It was banging too. Mm-hmm. 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 So for LA, this was really sobering too. And now I'm on a mission to find out the why, because it was unexpected. I thought that the cancer death statistics for LA City would be respiratory, and it wasn't. I don't want to misquote, but let me tell you what I found out, which is now I'm on like deep dive mode. Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. This was really interesting. It says Los Angeles County has an age-adjusted cancer incidence rate of 41.7 cases per 100,000, and while California generally has lower rates than the rest of the nation, Los Angeles County, listen to this, Los Angeles County has the highest number of liver cancer cases in the entire country. Liver cancer. Justice County, the highest number of liver cancer cases in this country. I said, what? That was so unexpected. So unexpected. Says that not only is it the highest cases, let's see, demographic factors. It says in Orange County, which is right next to us, has higher incidences for early onset cancers, meaning under the age of 50, especially breast cancer, colon cancer, and lung cancer. That's Orange County. The demographic factors for the increase of cancer cases in Orange County and Los Angeles County is non-Hispanic Black men in Los Angeles County have a 58% higher rate of prostate cancer compared to non-Hispanic white men. Overall cancer trends data indicates a 14.8% decline in cancer incidence in California from 1988 to 2015, with overall mortality rates decreasing. Y'all hear me? Anyway, so that's just a small dose of what y'all gonna be getting from me over the next 17 weeks. Because I came up in here to match energy, bitch. And the way I'm matching energy ain't on some dumbass, my personal opinion, no dumbass democratic socialism, no plat. This girl had how she just happened to have a 900-page manifesto of her platform already when she declared on Saturday. How she just happened to have a 900-page platform. Y'all ain't getting no 900-page Y'all ain't getting no 900-page platform from me, bitch. I'm sorry. That ain't happening. Yeah, my platform gonna be fire, but it ain't gonna be no 900 pages. Y'all be lucky if it's 100. Y'all be lucky if that motherfucker's 100 words. I'm kidding. This platform shit has been what's in here, been torturing me to death over the last week. 900 goddamn page platform. Y'all crazy. This girl crazy. You can read it online. And while on the surface, because all y'all know is socialism, communism, and capitalism, on the surface, that shit might sound cute. That's the same old shit. Same old boring ass, tired ass, unimaginative ass shit. And that is why socialism perpetually fails. Socialism perpetually fails because it was some sleight of hand shit anyway. It was a part of a good cop, bad cop strategy that's kept y'all trapped in a loop that y'all can't seem to break out of. So, anyway, I'm going to go ahead and go because I got to take advantage of the last hour of daylight left. But, that's today, Wednesday. So I'm going to, this is going to be it in terms of lives until Saturday morning for our temple service. And, this Friday's Friday the 13th. Get your juju up. Whatever it is you need to do, get your juju up. Saturday is huge, giant, huge. Saturday, Saturn moves into Aries at 0 degrees. It's a massively monumental day. Get your juju up. Make sure your mind is right. While you listen, have me tell it, I would have y'all out here doing some real extra shit. Like finding somebody that you really like. You know what I'm saying? That you have really great sex with. And right before y'all go into the moment, y'all speaking the names of everybody whose wealth needs to be returned to you from their ass, if you get my drift. Yeah, in this moment, we're using the power of this dynamic intercourse to chant down every motherfucker who has robbed us, every corporation that has robbed us, every institution that has caused our despair, every head of state. They can all get it. But your juju got to be exciting. It's got to be sexy. It's got to be opposing to what is. It's got to be powerful. You can still have the rage. You can still have the feeling that you are the executor of justice while turning up at the club or something. You feel me? But this is the month. This is the time. This is the thing. You know what I'm saying? If you got to choose 3 names, if that's all you got is 3 names to throw in the pot, you feel me? Trump's name would be in the pot. But let me not say that right here. As a matter of fact, email me if you want a list of names to write in red and throw in the motherfucking pot over this weekend. Email me and put list for the pot or names for the pot. We'll do that. We'll do it that way. I ain't gonna make the list long. We need to keep the shit simple so we can see the evidence of our work in action. 3 names for this weekend. Then we can choose another 3 names for the next weekend, because that too is big and powerful shit, right? And we could choose another 3 names for the next weekend. But we got to up the ante on this shit. We got to up the stakes and up the ante on this shit. Feel me? So that's all I'm gonna say. Get your juju up. Saturday morning service at 10 a.m. You feel me? And I'll keep y'all posted about the first committee meeting, the platform, all that stuff. All right, peace.